Nice. Good. I'm in a short right now currently too as well. I'm kind of looking at this triple top here, losing this daily 5 SMA again, kind of running a hard stop loss over high of day. We do have a little bit of support that we're coming into here now. I might just close the position up 11 points, 12 points or so, but I want to see if we can kind of break this 20 SMA to the downside. 14, 15 points. I mean, this is more than sufficient enough for a scalp here. I might as well just lock it in. Again, I normally only look for 10 points on my scalps anyways, so anytime I can kind of catch that little bit of a reversal going against a trend, I'll always kind of take it off. So it is what it is, right? So I can read you guys a couple of levels that I have. Couple of levels that I'm looking at here. 21,987 daily 5, right? Daily 5 SMA. We're obviously looking at the high of day, 22,018s, right in that area. The support that I'm kind of looking at right here that we've been bouncing off of is this rising 20 SMA. So we haven't cleared out this rising 20 SMA to the downside at all today. It's been acting as support literally since the open. Below that, 21,911. Okay, 21,911. And then that's the channel that we're in, right? We obviously have some levels that are much lower than that, but that's the channel that we're going to kind of play in here. This is going to be a little bit of a tricky zone, right? A little bit of a tricky zone between high of day and this previous swing low at 21,950. That's going to be a little bit of a tricky zone, right? A little bit of a tricky zone. So, the only things that I could really say that we're looking for is, do we take out the high, right? And in this case, maybe taking out the prior swing high over 22,006, you have room to push into 20s. Obviously over 20s, that kind of confirms getting over and staying over this initial balance. It also confirms holding your daily 5 SMA. Support is rising, but we are creating a little bit of a gap between my 20 SMA, the 10, and VWAP, right? So we've got clear gaps here that we can kind of look at, right? That those gaps are kind of look at. So again, the main thing to focus on is make sure that you guys are putting levels on your charts, right? So it's hard to kind of, it seems like it's easier to reference my chart. So there's a reason why I don't have the chart up right now. I want to get everyone to kind of identify these levels so you guys can see exactly what's going on, right? Like put the analysis, put the analysis all together, right? So you can see what it is that you're looking for. Now, again, after you see that we got a clear top here, right? And as we start to test this 20 SMA on a 5-minute time frame, we've got a very clear top here. So you could almost create a little bit of a zone, okay? You can create a little bit of a zone and say from high of day and underneath this 5 SMA is all supply, okay? So I don't really want to be long into high of day supply. If anything, I want to see, do we have a little bit of weakness here to maybe catch a scalp to the short side? Now, if we close back above our daily 5 SMA, I will be interested in getting back long, but we've got to close over it and we've got to show that I can confirm that candle that closes over. Until then, just kind of look for this little bit of a pullback into that prior swing low here, sitting at around 950s, mid to low 950s here. Again, we are setting up an active 20 SMA play, so I will draw a little bit of a demand zone here. We still have a lot of time before this candle closes, so it's not a for sure yet that this candle will close below this daily 5 SMA. We still have to kind of wait here. Now, let's say someone was short off the high of day. Well, where do you want to be taking profits? I always like to use prior structure to take profits, or moving averages, or a Fibonacci, something that's going to give me a visual where I could take profits. And the visual here that's standing out to me is this low, okay? And in those 950s. So if one is short, instead of telling yourself, oh man, this market's going to come all the way back down to 21,900s, it very well could. but wouldn't you just rather take the for sure gains? Now, again, those of you guys who have been trading with me for a while, you guys understand that I don't like to, look for those huge extravagant moves, right? They come, but they don't come often. And that's the thing, right? They don't come often, and I'm not the type of person, I'm not built in a way where I can afford to have 30% winning trades. It just doesn't do well for my mental. Even if the 30% of those winning trades is a 3 or 4R. It just doesn't do well for me, because over the series of 10, 20, 30 trades, I'm going to be losing a majority of those trades. And for me personally, everyone is different. For me personally, it just doesn't sit well with me. I can manage losing if it's a quick loss, right? Like, I don't like sitting in a trade for 20, 30 minutes just to get stopped out, right? Or break even, or give back a bunch of profits. It just doesn't suit me well. But again, I know traders out there who love that style of trading. Look for 1 or 2 trades a day, 1 trade a day, sit in it for 30 minutes to an hour, 2 hours, and, try to make 3 to 4 hours. I get it. But for me, I'm a little bit more fast paced. I like to try to find these intermediate levels. I like to try to get in. I like to try to get out very, very quickly. So we'll see how this candle wants to play out here. We got about a minute and a half before this candle closes. Clearly rejected at the daily 5 SMA. We've lost the 20 SMA. So I'll be waiting to see if this does confirm. Only thing that kind of worries me here is this 950 area, this previous low point. If we do kind of sink, you could definitely see maybe a bounce off of that, but we'll see here. I am going to adjust this box. As of right now, the range is 29-30 points. So a little bit, it's still continuing to go down. A little bit of a big candle here. So you're going to have to kind of take that into consideration when it comes to the sizing that you want to put on a specific trade. Now, because you're going against a trend, right? You hear a lot of people, especially on YouTube, you'll hear a lot of people, oh, stay with the trend, blah, 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 right? Listen, going against a trend doesn't mean that the trade's automatically going to lose. The probability of a winner goes down, but you have to make sure you understand, well, where potentially could this be going, right? Now, if you're taking a trade against a trend, this is a very, very large candle here, guys. If you're taking a trade, wow, this trade might be gone. It might be gone because the support that I'm looking at is 21,911, which was going to lead me to the point I was going to make here. We are confirming the 20 SMA short here. Give me a second. I'm in this trade. I'm out of this trade. 7.5 points is fine for me on a quick scalperoo there. Again, reason why I'm taking a quick scalp on that, just due to the fact that it's a 40-point range. I don't really want to give up 40 points on this trade, so I'm not going to really look for half a ATR on that. I'm not going to really look for half the range. If I was looking for half the range, that means I need to be looking for at least 20 points. Giving up 40 points off the jump here, a little bit too steep for me. So get in on the confirmation, take 5, 6, 7 points. I managed to snag 7. What is it? Probably not even that. I got in at 44.75 and I got out at 936.25. Somebody do the math. I don't know how much that is. 7, 8 points there. I don't know. And again, you've got to be looking for that kind of stuff. If you're like, here's the thing. If you're not looking for that active 20 SMA short, you were never going to take it. Because why? You're never going to trust it. You're not going to trust that move. See, and that's one thing, that's a big misconception with a lot of traders, is when you watch other traders trade, or you learn a strategy for the first time, or you're forward testing a new strategy, the biggest obstacle that you have in front of you is trusting what it is that you're looking for, or knowing what it is that you're looking for. So like, there's thousands and thousands of traders out there. Okay. Everyone's kind of looking for something different, right? In terms of strategy or entry point. And someone who's looking for one specific thing to happen on the charts, they're going to identify that very quickly. They're going to execute very, very quickly. And if they know what they're looking for, they're definitely going to take that trade. Now, for example, someone who doesn't, maybe someone who's just learning a strategy, you're going to kind of be hesitant a little bit to take those setups. You're going to, oh, should I hold for a full move? Should I take a scalp? Should I cut this position? It's the only reason is because the repetition is not there yet. You haven't taken enough of that particular strategy setups to have a good feel. Now, the 20 SMA strategy, I've been playing for years. I don't just play it on futures. I trade options. I'm an options trader first, guys. You know, for those of you guys who are new, I'm an options trader first. So again, like when you guys see my screen and stuff, the Thinkorswim, the TD Ameritrade, well, it's not TD Ameritrade, Charles Schwab, but the Thinkorswim platform that I do all my charting on is just because I've been charting on Thinkorswim for over 10 years. I still execute my trades on TraderVate with Apex. I still execute my trades on Project X with Top Step and daytraders.com or whatever other prop firm I'm using. But I do my charting on Thinkorswim. So I know what I'm looking for because it's comfortable, right? I don't want to go out there and learn a million different platforms. You know, I like Project X platform because of the lockout feature, right? Because of, you know, the certain risk settings that you have with it. I don't really like charting on it, right? Like I'm not a trading, what is it? Trading view? I'm not a big trading view guy, right? Like I'm not a trading view guy. So I'm going to stick to what's comfortable for me, right? And for some people, they don't want to have a bunch of different charting platforms up. I get it. I understand it. It's the whole reason why I'm still looking at, you know, my Thinkorswim to do my charting, even for trading futures, right? So again, but I can execute on those other platforms. Buy, sell, very simple, right? Buy, sell. Most of you guys know, well, sometimes I have a hard take profit, but a lot of times I'm market in, I'm market out, right? I don't really care what the public says about you should never not have a hard stop loss. I do have a hard stop loss. You know where I have a hard stop loss? In my fucking head, right? When my head tells my finger to click the button, right? Again, maybe if you've been trading for a year or 6 months or 2 months where you find it hard to get out of a losing trade, yes, 100,000% I agree that you should have a hard stop loss if you can't control your exit points, right? And it's the same thing for the take profit side of things, right? If you are looking at a trade and let's say you have a lot of success taking 10 points. I'm just using an example. And you're in a trade and you're up 10 points and you don't sell because, well, maybe it goes higher. Maybe I make 20 points. Maybe I caught the top and this goes 100 points, right? And maybe you also lose that trade, right? So that's the thing with experience, screen time, and forward testing and execution. You have to make sure that you know what you're looking for before you even get into the trade. Like that playbook, that play should have already ran through your head in terms of it working and in terms of it doesn't work. What are you going to do if it doesn't work? What are you going to do if it does work? You know what I'm saying, guys? So that's the main thing. Again, we are in an active short here. We're in an active short, 20 SMA short. Again, I told you we have a big range here. It's a 40-point range. You do have some supply up here that you can work with here. It's the daily 5 SMA. It's your 20 SMA on a 5-minute time frame. In terms of my higher time frame to kind of gauge my confluence for my scalps, 15-minute time frame back in the middle of the range here between the 5 and 10, kind of just floating down, but I could see it bouncing at any point in time. I could see this range between 21,912s and 980s being very, very choppy as the market tries to figure out what it wants to do in this range. Does it want to come all the way down and hold support and get a bounce? Do we want to just hold this, you know, flag pattern here and break to the upside? We'll see, right? We'll see. But all in all, you know, it's just about executing, right? Trusting what it is that you're looking at and not being afraid a lot of the times, right? A lot of the times we are trying to be so perfect as a trader, but newsflash, guys, you're not going to be perfect. Nobody's perfect. Everyone blows accounts. Everyone takes losses. Everyone goes on tilt. Everyone deals with emotions. If you think the people who are making all this money don't go on tilt, you're a fool, okay? The only difference is is the bankroll. And what that means is someone who's got a large bankroll to continue to take a lot of trades and continue to buy a lot of accounts can continue to push forward versus this person who has a smaller bankroll. I used to tell people all the time when I was teaching options, you want to know the difference between someone with a $50,000 account, personal account to trade, and someone with walking in with $2,000 account, is a person with $50,000 can afford to take a lot more trades and they can afford to take a lot more risk in terms of their emotions on where they sit, versus the person who's entering into a play with a $2,000 account and putting $1,000 on the line needs that trade to work, because if they don't, they're running the risk of losing 25, 30, 40, 50%, even, you know, more of their entire account. So it puts a lot of stress on you, right? It's like putting your head in a vice and you're just squeezing. I am a big advocate of making this as easy as possible on ourselves, right? Now, the actual price action stuff on what the market is going to do is not like what we're trying to make easier, because let's be honest, the market's going to do what the market's going to do. We don't have any control over the outcome. So I can't, regardless of strategy that I'm using, I can't really come to a place where I feel 1,000% confident that the way that I'm trading is always going to work forever, right? Or the setups that I take are always going to work, right? I can't be 1,000% confident in that. But what I can be 1,000% confident is, well, if I'm trading, and I just look at it like this, if I'm trading, let's say 5 accounts, and I'm copy trading 2 accounts in a group and 3 accounts in another group, and I take 2 losses on those accounts for, let's say, $300-400, I'm gonna start to feel like a little squirmish, right? Like a little like, I want to get that money back. Like, I'm probably gonna find another setup I can get it back. Is it the smartest thing to do? Probably not, right? Because based on probabilities and math and trading tells us that the next trade doesn't have to be a winner. But what would make me feel a lot more confident is if I had 10 accounts and I had 2 more groups of 2 and 3 to trade. So sure, maybe the first group of 5 took a loss, but I can now log into the other ones and maybe the next trade's a winner for those trades or for those accounts, right? So that starts to free things up. So when you have 15 accounts, it takes more pressure off yourself. You have 20 accounts, takes more pressure off yourself. You have 25 accounts, takes a lot more pressure off yourself. 30, 40, 50, so forth and so forth. Guys, there's so many good prop firms out there. Again, I'm not here to say which prop firm is the best. I'm not here to say which prop firm, this, that, and the other. I use a handful of prop firms, right? Top Step was the first one that I got started with. They were the first ones that ever paid me. I was back on Top Step when it was a 2-step challenge and the price was double, even triple. And you had to basically trade for at least a month before you got it funded, right? Because it was a minimum of 10 days. We had to pass step 1. We had to pass step 2. And guess what happens when we got into step 3? We had to do it all over again and make the same amount of money. So it took a long time back then. But again, I've been with them for a while. Apex I've been with for a while. And some of the newer ones that I've added was Day Traders Top 1. Now, again, I'm not here to argue and go which one's better. Take Profit Traders, also another really good one. And Tradeify is also, from what I've heard and what I've seen, is another good one. Those would be prop firms that I will try to go after as well. But again, I can't spread myself too thin, right? I'm not even max allocated on the ones that I got, right? I've got 3 XFA accounts. I've got 12 or 13 Apex PA accounts, so I'm not even fully maxed on those 2 firms. I've got 1 at Day Traders, and I've got 1 at Top 1. So again, when I get fully maxed on the ones that I have, then I'm going to spread my beautiful wings and fly over to Tradeify as well as Take Profit Trader. And that's the beautiful thing about prop firms, is that if you were to max allocate with all firms, I mean, you're talking about probably having close to 50 accounts. And if you're a type of person who really has trouble with revenge trading and over trading, well, I'm here to tell you, my friends, the more accounts that you have, and we're kind of trading down into this 21,911 area, guys, the more accounts that you have, the more trades you can take without feeling the pain. Oh, I'm out. I just got short again. Okay. And that's the thing, guys. Feel the market, right? Feel the market. What's the strategy here? Nothing. there's no real strategy. I'm still in an active 20 SMA play, right? I'm in an active 20 SMA play. We confirmed, I took 7 points there. It bounced. I'm looking at this current candle, right? Call it experience, I don't know. Call it intuition, I don't know. Call it gambling, I don't give a fuck. What I'm looking at here is we lost the 20 SMA, it bounced, and I'm still watching momentum push down. My out is still a break over the 5 SMA, the daily 5. My out is still a break over this 20 SMA. Nothing changes there, right? So I felt the candle was going to go down more. I took a trade, right? And that's the thing. A lot of traders, newer traders, especially the ones out there you see on social media in the comment sections on every live streamer's comment section. Oh, well, this person doesn't know how to trade. This person this person that. Oh, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. It's all a bunch of bullshit. You don't believe it because you don't know what the hell you're doing. That's right. You don't know what the hell you're doing. Now, again, are any one of these guys, myself, are we the world's greatest traders? Absolutely not. But you know what we're pretty good at? Trusting ourselves and figuring something out, right? At least a little something where we can get behind and continue to take these trades, right? So it is what it is. 21,911. That is also, I do have this Fibonacci, all these I got a bunch of lines on my screen right now, but I do have a fib retracement at 21,911. If anyone wants to kind of mark that level out, that's also matching up with my daily 10. Okay, guys? So if you guys don't run daily moving averages on your chart, I would kind of suggest that you do. At least for intraday trading, a daily 5 and a daily 10 and a daily 20. I think those would be really, really good levels to kind of play off of. At least those 3. Because they come into play a lot on a weekly basis. They come into play a lot. So when you're kind of looking at those, if you look at today's example, when we touched highs and we pulled back that first time at around 7:55 Pacific Standard, when we pulled back the first time and then put in a lower high, well, you can tell yourself, if this market's not going to run highs and we get back down below this daily 5, why wouldn't you be short, right? Why wouldn't you be short? Okay, so it looks like we had a lot of people though today lock up gains early. Burks, I mean, absolute machine with the $200 days across 20 accounts there on Apex. Viv, few one and doneers for him as well. 30-minute ORB 155 155. Jeremy locked up some gains very early at the top of the hour. Who else? I know there was someone else that posted up. But anyways, yeah, I mean, a lot of people I felt finished early. Again, it was pretty, I hate using the word early or easy, but early in the day, it was almost pretty easy. I don't think, unless you try to go short, right? Like, unless you did not believe that this was going to continue and you try to throw on a short and then you got smashed out of that. But the continuation up today, again, I want to point out, go back test it, guys. Go back test it. That VWAP remount, the VWAP remount, back test it today. That thing has been fucking cooking, guys. It's been cooking. So just go back and look at it, So now in a situation like this, I don't really want to get short again, and I don't want to get long here, even though I am in a little bit of a kind of a demand zone here, a little bit of a holding pattern as long as I'm over 21,911. I don't really want to do anything more in this range. We took our scalps to the downside here. We're kind of watching us chop around this channel. I would like to see one of two things next. I would like to see us break and hold below 21,911. Or I want to see us reclaim 980s. Other than that, I don't want to do anything. Not right now, at least. I'll let this market kind of figure itself out. We are going to be approaching the lunch hour here as well. So we can expect maybe a little bit more of a choppy environment as we go through this lunch hour of trading, you know. So at the end of the day, guys, you know, what are we trying to do on a daily basis? We're all trying to make money, right? So if we're all trying to make money, what do we need to do besides clicking the button on the chart up and down? What do we need to do to make and protect our money, right? Maybe at this time you analyze what you've already done, right? So the market's been open for 2 hours. What trades did you take? Were you on the right side of the move? Did you make some cash? Do you really need to trade? Do you have accounts that maybe you can lock up that are green, and maybe you can slide into another account that's fresh to kind of spread that risk out, versus taking more trades on the account that you're green? Again, these are questions and conversations that you want to have with yourself each and every single day, which again, that's why we created that Pursuit to 3K challenge channel, so you can hold yourself accountable intraday. You can see and read what other people are doing. You can try to communicate as best as possible. Because if you think about it, guys, think about it. If you're on a trade floor working for a firm, you're working for a prop, you're working for a hedge fund, do you think that you're sitting in silence all day? You have no one to report to. You don't have a risk manager to report to. You don't have goals that you need to try to achieve. What are your goals? Are you achieving those goals? Are we hitting those benchmarks? Are we hitting those thresholds? And are we sticking to them, more importantly? Because I will tell you this, if you worked for me at a firm and I'm the risk manager, I'm the trade desk manager, and you have a goal of X amount of dollars and you hit that goal and then give it all back by the end of the day, you're fired. Like, I don't need you. Give me someone who can do what the hell they're supposed to do, right? That's a mind trick that I play with myself. Does it work every day? No, you know, I'm human. Some days I tell myself to screw off and I continue to go hammer at it. But a lot of days it works. It works for me, right? Because I tell myself, okay, D, if I'm trading at a firm and I'm looking for X amount of profits, and I know how much profits it's going to take for me to pass an evaluation or to get to those 8 days of you know, for Apex, or 5 days at 200 with Top Step or whatever it is. If I know what that takes and I hit that goal, well, by golly, I better respect that goal. You know, like I can't afford to give it back, right? Because then I'm just putting myself back into the hamster wheel that I feel so many of us, you know, we get stuck in for too long. We forget that there's a door, guys. There's a door on the hamster wheel. We don't have to stay in the hamster ball, right? We you know, we could just stop running, and we could just climb right out of the hamster wheel, right? We don't have to continue to spin our wheels in the mud. So what I'm looking at here, this is still an active short position style pattern here, but this candle here at 840 PST standing out to me, right? Standing out to me, big hammer candle type indecision candle. If you also look at your 15-minute time frame, I like to reference my 15-minute. That previous 15-minute candle is a doji, right? It's a little bit of a, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, right? I got one guy looking one way, one guy looking the other way type of candlestick, where you have an equal wick, both high and low, kind of telling me that during that 15 minutes of price, buyers and sellers, nobody came out of that on top, okay? Nobody came out of that on top. So what that tells me is you need to sit patient and you need to wait and see who's going to come out of this on top, right? Is it going to be the sellers? Is it going to be the buyers? And until that happens, just kind of sit on your stump and do nothing here. Now, if you do run the lows, keep in mind that you are running into lows here at support at 21,911. That is your daily, daily 10 SMA, right? I can kind of just scan and kind of see what the hell everyone else is doing here. I'm going to look at the ES is pulled all the way back. So look at, as of right now, guys, NASDAQ's dragging ass a little bit as ES tested our daily 10. The NASDAQ has not, right? The NASDAQ did not test this daily 10. So if the ES continues to bounce here, right? If the ES continues to bounce and you see the NASDAQ hold up here, and then later on in the day you see ES get below its daily 10, you could look to the NASDAQ as a short. Crude oil is getting a little bit of a pop here as well, getting back over its 20 SMA on a 15-minute time frame. Crude oil did have a flag pattern to the downside that never confirmed, which looks good for later. Below 73 is short, looks good on crude. As of right now, kind of stuck in a little bit of a channel. On crude, we have room to 74.40s on crude. Gold is pushing highs, of course, right? Gold is pushing highs here. Gold looks good, holding its daily 5, 10, 20, and VWAP. Pullback for gold would be down at 33.97.50. But over 34.06 looks great for a continuation on gold. Has broken out of a bigger downtrend trend here, going back about a week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 days worth of price action. Looks like gold is trying to break out here. People trying to put money into the safe haven, you know. Whole world's gonna end. Everyone wants to trickle into gold, which, you know, I get it, but let's see. Let's see how some of the equities are doing here. Nasdaq's getting Nvidia is getting a good push. Nvidia is trying to reclaim its daily 10 here. If Nvidia was to get over 144.40s, you could definitely see Nasdaq start to push here. Nvidia is still making lower highs though over the past 48 hours. Tesla absolutely exploded today, and I trade Tesla almost religiously, and the move went so fast this morning that it went without me. I mean, Tesla's up 10% today, guys. 10%. I'd be looking for a little bit of a pullback here on Tesla. Maybe into 346s for a bounce. 346s. It's got some ways to go though. Apple looks pretty weak here, below its daily 20, has room down to 199. Apple is setting up a little bit of a bear flag here, so I would definitely watch Apple to the downside if the NQ begins to continue to pull back here. Any reclaim of the daily 20 on Apple, you could get a little bit of a dead cat bounce, but as long as it stays below its daily 20, I would still stay down pressured on Apple. Boom, boom, boom. This is probably the hardest thing in trading. Sitting back, waiting for something to happen here, you know? But that's what you get paid to do, guys. You know, you guys get paid to wait. You don't get paid to hustle in trading, which is completely counter opposite of what, you know, most of us in life as a whole are like trained to think, right? The harder we work, the more we focus, the faster we get something done, the better we do, right? The more practice we put in, the better we're going to be. It makes sense to a point, but with trading, realistically, it's completely opposite. You're getting rewarded, you're getting paid to literally sit and wait for the most ideal setup, and then you want to have full confidence in that setup, and boom, boom, boom. You want to execute quickly, guys. You know, you don't want to sit here for 10 hours a day. You're going to drive yourself mad. You're going to end up, you know, somewhere where you don't want to be, right? You're going to be checking yourself in for a 30-day stint if you trade 10 hours a day, you know, 15 hours a day, 20 hours a day. I mean, these markets and the futures markets are open 23 hours a day. I know people who are trading all 3 sessions, guys. I mean, what are we doing here? You got to be absolutely a monster. So you have to think about it. Are you a really good trader trading 3 sessions, or are you addicted? Are you a gambler, right? Oh, I could catch something here. I could catch something there. Guys, I've traded the same session since I've started trading futures. Like, I trade New York. You know, there's plenty of opportunity in New York. If you don't like New York, trade London. You don't like London, trade Asian, right? But find the session that you enjoy and trade that session, right? You don't need to trade 23 hours a day. You don't need to trade 10 hours a day, 8 hours, 6 hours a day. You know, I'm a big advocate of picking a small window, 2 to 3 hour window in the day. That's it, 2 to 3 hour window. Sit there, be patient, wait for your setups to arise, take the trades, win, lose, or draw, walk away, come back tomorrow. Is that hard to do? Why is that so hard to do for so many of us? You know, we got to get over the ego thing, guys, over the pride thing. You know, I'm going to be the first to tell you, and I hate to break your bubble, but you're not going to make $1 million today. You're just not. Okay? You're not going to retire tomorrow. You're just not. You're really not. You got to get that through your head, right? You got to get that through your head. And for most of us, we want to show up tomorrow and we want to trade, right? We like this. We enjoy it to a degree, right? Even when we feel like we hate it, we enjoy it to a degree. So if we enjoy this business and we're going to continue to show up tomorrow and next week and next month, next quarter, why are we so concerned about what happens today? We need to survive to tomorrow. We need to survive till next week. We need to survive next quarter, next year, right? So, like I said, the one thing that has happened, that has been the best thing that's happened for me, is scaling, right? More accounts. And I hate to pound that into your guys' heads, but you really don't understand that the more accounts that you have, the less stressed you start to feel, because you just weave and slither through these accounts. You know, here's a setup on this account. Here's a setup on this account. Next thing you know, you've taken 5, 6 setups on a day. You forgot what accounts you even traded. You look back and you finished green on the day, right? Because I don't even think most of you guys operate, you know, a 20-30% win rate strategy. Most of you guys are really, really good. 60% win rate, 70% win rate, even higher. And it's one trade that derails everything. And then you just lose your freaking mind after that. So instead of getting to that point where you lose the trade and you lose your mind, how about you just take a new setup on every single account? And when you run into that losing trade, you say F it, you move into another account, you take another winner, and you continue to roll, right? That's what I think, boys. Exactly. Eric, if we're going to blow, right? If we're going to blow an account or we're going to blow a group, I'd rather blow 2 or 3 accounts out of a group of 20 and then allow those other 17 accounts to be green at the end of the week, right? Because at the end of the week, I'm really not going to care about what happened on a Monday, right? So just constantly keep investing into your business. The more you invest into your business, the better it's going to be. You will get to a point where you're taking monthly payouts and that business is going to start to run on its own. Okay. And I still am buying evaluations on a weekly basis. Sometimes I don't even get around to trading them for a week. Right. So when you don't get around to even trading them for a week, you know, yeah, am I worried about, oh, I'm going to get rebuilt? No, I'm not worried about the rebuild or nothing. The money is going to just keep continuing to roll. But I know that having those accounts, like there was a day about a month ago where I took a couple of trades. I took a pretty bad loser, and I was like, let's put it this way: the monitor was completely 2 inches away from being thrown out the fucking window, right? And I realize I've got all these other evaluations that I can just take out my aggression on. I'll just go trade those like a madman, get it all out of my system, come back tomorrow, and I'm good, right? And it helps. It helps. I'm not saying to go take out your aggression and go blow them purposely, right? But just go and trade your setups. Guys, watch 21.911 as we break these lows here. 21.911 here. 21.911 as support. 21.911 as support. So if you're short here, you want to take profits into 21.911. 21.911. If it holds up there and starts to bounce, then you're going to form some decent support here at this area. Then you would look for a bounce, look for some consolidation, and then if any point in time we lose 911s, 910s, you can give it another stab. But if you've been short, again, there's a difference between let me start a short here and I've been sitting short. If you've been sitting short, that last push was your reason to start taking profits. As we approach support, you start taking profits. Now, there's a lot of people who do it in reverse. They tell themselves, oh shit, we're moving down, we're moving down. They start the short position way down here. And now you're in 15 points of drawdown, right? Exactly. So every day, Viv, every day I'm trading fundeds. So I will always trade fundeds. It's just that, like, I will always trade funded accounts every single day. There's never a day where I'm not trading fundeds. When I take a few trades on those fundeds, let's say from there, I get into trading some evals. So maybe like during lunch, if I get a setup, or maybe after I've made some quick cash, I'll go trade some evals, right? I'll just work myself into those evaluations. Or let's say this. Let's say the first setup of the day, I lost, right? It's a loser. And let's say I'm down 150 bucks. I will go into the next trade on an evaluation, get my confidence back, gauge the market, gauge the price action. Am I seeing things clearly today? If I take double loss, right? Like I took a loss on a funded, loss on an evaluation. Now I have to start thinking about the bigger picture. Are we in a range where I'm getting churned, right? Maybe I need to wait 30 minutes, an hour to see something happen out of this zone. It gives me an out, right? It gives me an out. But every day I'm trading a funded account. Yeah. There's never a day. I don't pick days where I'm like, oh, today's an eval day. No. The evals are just in there with the funded accounts getting traded. Because for me, there's no point in just trading solely evals if I have funded accounts. Why would I want to do that? The whole goal here is to trade funded accounts. So if you got them, you better be trading them. Don't hold out on your funded accounts for, oh, the best day to, let me pick the best day to trade. No. Right? Trade them every day. If you get a setup, right? Don't force the trades, but if you get your setup, take the trade. Pretty good little hold here as of now, this daily 10. Like to see what this wants to do here. That's a good spot for a pullback long off of that 21.911. Any closure below 21.911 opens up the door for continuation for another VWAP test. I also have to make a case to point out that 20 SMA short, it was a 40-point range. Okay, the zone's still on the screen. 40-point range. The ATR was 30 points. So what's the rule? If you're looking for half an ATR as a take profit, you would have got it. Would you have been in drawdown? Yes. How much drawdown would you have been in? 20 points or so. 20 something points. But you would have trusted the strategy, held your position, you would have taken a half ATR PT or TP. You know? So again, when you really start to look at things, how much are you actually trusting your strategy and how much are you not trusting it because you're sized too heavily? Right now, if you're in a 1 micro contract and you're not trusting the strategy and you're bouncing yourself out of trades when you shouldn't be, now you have a different problem that you need to work through. But if you're getting bounced out of trades because it didn't work immediately when you got in, you're sized too heavy. So make that first adjustment, size down a little bit, start taking the trades on much smaller size, allowing those trades to work out. Because again, I mean, you would have got 15 points easy on this trade if you would have just held it, right? What indicator told you to get out of this trade? What, you know, the trade short. I'm talking about the original 20 SMA short. You know, what told you to get out of it? Did you reclaim the 5 SMA? No. Did you reclaim the 20 SMA? No. Did you reclaim the reason why candle? No. So why did you get out of the trade? Right? You got to start asking yourself those questions. Now, if you were never in that trade to begin with, well, you can start asking yourself the questions, why didn't I take the trade? Well, I didn't believe this. I did. That comes to you haven't forward tested enough. You haven't taken enough of these trades to trust it. So you're not trusting the setup, right? You're not trusting the setup. And that has nothing to do with anything else other than you just need more experience taking the trades. Like you need to take more of those trades. Right? Because so many of us are trying to only take trades that are going to work. How do you know if the trade is going to work? How? How do you know the trade's going to work? You don't know that. So how can you cherry pick which setup is going to work? You can't, right? So does it make any sense? Watching this level perfectly hold out here. This 21,911 area is holding up as support pretty good here. You are in a channel between 911 and 975. We start to lose 911, you're looking at like 875 as your next area of support. 875 I would look for as a bounce. Again, depending on how you want to trade, you can actually look for a long off of this zone, off of this 900 zone, and use a stop loss below 900, 911-ish, 910. Or you can wait to see if it breaks down towards 875, but it might not break down towards 875. That's the thing. Good bounce. Good bounce there. Do you guys on your charts, do you see how that bounce held? Do you see why it held? Like, can you make a case for why it held right there? Again, if you're kind of just looking at price action and you're wondering, why did we bounce right there? Why are we, we bounced almost 30 points. You know, figure out why it bounced from there. Again, there could be a million different reasons as to why we bounced from there. Um, it's also like the 30-minute opening range high, right? Right around that area. So, I mean, you want to start making a case for why price is doing what it's doing at the places it's doing it at. So again, just based and again, what I'm saying is my reason for it bouncing is not the only reason why it bounced. But on my chart, the reason why we held that first attempt, daily 10 SMA, strong level. Okay. 78.6 on a fib, strong level. Okay. It's not like we just stopped out of nowhere. It's also in the zone, in the range of that 30-minute opening high range, right? That 30-minute high, the ORB. So there's a lot of things there as to why this price kind of bounced from here, right? So you can start to build a case for, okay, if this bounces, it puts in a lower high and eventually loses 9/10s, we might have some room down. If this holds, you can use this area, this 910, 900 area as a stop, right? So let's see what she wants to do. My opinion, what I would like to see happen, which doesn't really matter, but what I would like to see happen is I would like to see a lower high get put in. I would like to crash through 9/10s, and I would like to get our butts down here towards 875. That would, to me, would be a good pullback long. I don't know if I'm gonna get that though, so I gotta just freaking wait, right? I gotta wait. There's nothing I can freaking do. I can't start anticipating. %, 100%. So we want to make sure too we're not doing stupid shit, right? You guys see it at the bottom of my screen. You guys have seen my videos before. If you haven't, welcome, right? But I'm almost 100% positive all of you guys have seen it. It's like something that I use, for myself as well. I see it on my screen as well. Stop doing stupid shit, D. You're up $300 today. Stop doing stupid shit. Do you need a trade? No. Like, I can make a case to go long. I can make a case to go short from here. But what am I doing? I'm anticipating though, right? I don't want to anticipate. That's stupid. Stupid me. Because I never had the idea to bounce from 911s. I had the idea to get short on a breakdown of 911s into 875. I have an idea to go long here if we can hold 875s. That's my idea. So I have to wait for my idea to play out. So that's the thing. Depending on what you're looking at in your chart is going to determine where that next move is coming from, right? So if you were looking at this as support to hold to go long, you should be going long, right? Like, that's the thing. If you never had that on your chart, you can't just say, oh, well, this person or that person or D is saying, hey, good opportunity to go long here or good opportunity to go short through 911. If you don't know what the hell's going on there, you can't just blindly take that trade because it's not going to make sense to you, right? So only do things what is making sense to you and only take trades that you've taken before. Like, if you've never taken a trade off of a daily moving average level, why the hell are you going to start right now? Like, if you've never played Fibonacci's, why the hell are you going to start right now, right? You better start learning these things. You better start, trying to practice playing these levels. If not, you're going to get toasted. because you're going to win some trades, you're going to lose some trades, and guess what's going to happen at the end of the week? You're going to be asking yourself, what the hell did I just do? How the hell did I make this money, give it all back? It's because you're just trying everything under the frickin' sun, right? Looking for this to break down, though, is what I want to see it do. I'd like to see it get to 875s. I'd like to see it get to 875s. Even a quick wick would be fine with me. A daily 10 got tested again, held up pretty nicely. So the more times we test this daily 10, the stronger the support is going to be. Also, on that same note, the more times you test an area, when it finally gives that area up, what do you think's going to happen, right? This is a good spot for longs. I will say that you do have two spots that are great for longs. I would like 875s, but this is also another really good spot for longs over 900. 900 to 910, great spot for longs here, because you can use this current candle's low wick as an out, right? You can use that as an out. It's all about getting the best price, right? You know, even if you're wrong on the idea, great. Well, you had a good price on the trade, and it is what it is. My best price for this trade is I want to sweep into like 876, 880s. You know, between 85 and 75, if I can get a sweep in that price, that would be a good price for me to go long. I have no problem here trying to scalp this through 911s, to be honest. Short. For a quick move, though. Quick. 911's got tested there. 913's holding up pretty well. Let's see here. It shoots through 11s. This could go down 10, 15 points pretty quickly. There's 10s, 9s. Let's see here. 8s was tagged. Come on. 7. Do you want to give it to me here? Do you want to give me those 85s, 75s, or not? I want to see some exhaustion through this 9-10 area. 7s was traded. Here we go. 5s. 4. Boom. That's it, you son of a bitch. I'm out. I took 10 points on that. The more time you test it, it breaks through, it's going to go. That's the exhaustion I'm looking for. I don't need it to test 880s. I don't need it to test 75s. That's just the target, right? That's just the target. I'm going to make money en route to that target. Again, I'm a scalper. You give me 5 points, fine. You give me 10 points, fine. You give me 12 points, fine. I don't really care. I just want to find these spots where I can find these trades. And again, I'm not even touting a big win here. That trade that I was fucking sitting in to try to get short here through 9/11s, I took 51 bucks on it. 51 bucks. So it's not like I'm taking $10,000 a trade. But to be honest, we're up $742.76 on this stupid account, and we're just taking baby trades like this. Like, what are the stats on this fucking account? 77% win rate today, so I have taken losing trades on this. Average winning trade for me today is $99.40. The average losing trade to me on this account for me today was $140. Not bad. Guys, look for that. What were we calling for here? Look for that spot here on the VWAP to get tested, right? 85s and 75s. 85s and 75s. See what that 15-minute view is looking like here. Not that much, bro. It depends. And again, I trade between 3 and 5 micros. If the range is wide and the price action is moving really fast, I have no problem trading 2 micros. Like, I'll trade 2 micros, 10 points here, 15 points there, whatever, right? Doesn't really matter. $40 trade here, $50 trade there. But I do get up into minis. I will get into a mini, which is fine. No more than 1 mini, though. It's all depending on what is my balance, how am I feeling in terms of price action? Am I reading price action okay? I will say this, the more contracts that I trade, the smaller take profit I have. So if I'm trading 2 or 3 micros, I'm looking for 10, 15, 20 points. If I'm trading a mini, I'm looking for like 5 to 10 points. It's a beautiful flush below those 9/11s into that VWAP there. That was the analysis. That was the plan there, guys. And again, I'm happy with it. Am I happy that I missed out on another 10 points, 15 points? Not really. No. Because I had an idea of this to break down through 9/11s and get short, right? So if that was my idea, great. I'm not sitting here crying about it. And that's what I see a lot of traders do. They will cry and they'll look back at the position and be like, oh, I should have taken more money. I should have traded more size. No, you shouldn't have done anything. Like, what you needed to do was exactly whatever it is that you did. So many people get caught up in the fact that they missed out on money. Guess what, guys? You're always missing out on money. You're always missing out on money. The only thing you can guarantee is what you can guarantee. Does that make sense? You can only guarantee what you can guarantee. If that doesn't make sense to you and you're trying to, figure out that play on words, take some time. Ask yourself the question again. The only thing you can guarantee is what you can guarantee. When I'm looking at the screen and I'm up 10 points, I can guarantee that. That's guaranteed. It's on the fucking screen, right? I can't guarantee it's going to go in my favor 20 points. I can't guarantee that. Can't guarantee that it's going to not take me out at break even or go down 50 points against me. I can't guarantee that. It's not on the screen yet. Candle hasn't printed yet. If I walk away with $742.76 on this Top Step account, I can guarantee that. Does that make sense? I can't guarantee I'm going to make another $1 on this count. I can't guarantee that, right? But what I can guarantee is what I can guarantee. We need to get that into our fucking heads. And this is the bounce. This is the reclaim that we were looking for. Shoot through 9/11s, sweep 85, 75, and bounce. Reclaim that. That's what we were looking for. You could play that back up into like 900, 905. Now you have a clear out. You can use the 864s as a stop loss. Pressure is looking pretty, the momentum is looking pretty juicy though to the downside. Just got to be careful on that. Got to be careful on that. So if someone did go long here, you're getting out below 64. You're getting out below 64. So it'd be something like this. Gosh darn it. You would get out below 64s. On little ideas like this remount of this VWAP, it wouldn't be something that I trade on big size. You know, I would weasel into it with like a micro or two. If this breaks 64s, that is off the table. So now, again, that long is going to be off the table if you're below VWAP. Now you are below daily 5, daily 10, to your 20 SMA, and it's struggling with VWAP now, intraday VWAP. So pressure is all pointing down right now. You don't even get close to, you know, wanting to try to step in front of this falling knife until you reclaim a level of supply. So if you were not short, you let this thing go. If you were not short, you let this go. You don't tell yourself you're getting short right now. You're way too late to the party. And also, not to toot my own fucking horn on my strategy, but can we go back to the 20 SMA strategy here? 8:25 Pacific Standard Time, 40-point range. Oh, that's too many points. I could never give up fucking 40 points. Guys, the low was 21,944. We're trading 840s. That's 100 points down, and I've been in this short 3 times. Like I already have said, I'm not a guy who can hold for these big 100-point moves. That's not my style. I can't do it. But what I can do is take 10 points on the quick move here. I can take another 10 points as we churn into that daily 10, and I can take another 10 points here. So yeah, did I take 100 points on the trade? Absolutely not. Am I okay with it? Yeah, but I took about 30 points on this down move. I'm okay with that, right? I'm fine with that. You know, that's a full 1-to-1. That's a 2R trade. So for everyone out there, oh, I hate scalping negative risk to reward. Oh, there's no strategy. Your strategy sucks. Yeah, whatever. Right? Trust it. Trust what you're doing. And again, it doesn't even necessarily mean that it's going to fucking work out all the time. Like, right? Like, that's why, like, because I know that strategies are like fucking assholes, everyone's got one. I know that the strategy's not going to work 100% of the time. Right? So if I know that, you know, I'm not going to sit around always expecting the strategy to give me this 100-point move. I mean, look at it. Right? Like, if anyone has seen my YouTube videos at all, you guys have seen the 20 SMA strategy. We have been on this call for an hour, literally the entire duration of this 20 SMA short into each level of demand, right? Again, you don't have to sit there and try to catch the whole move though. Again, it all depends on how much size you're trading. The smaller size that you're trading, the more you can sit in a trade. Okay, that's my opinion. You know, you're trading a handful of micros, you can afford to let it wiggle, right? But here's the thing. If I'm scalping, let's say, a mini contract, I got to ask myself this question first. And I think all of you guys should ask yourself this question first. Why are you trading a mini contract? Is it because you just want to make a lot of fucking money? Or is it because you want to make super fast money? Which one is it? And it can't be both. I think, and this is my opinion, I think people want to trade minis because they can make all this fucking money, right? I trade a mini because I can make fast money. So when I think about making fast money, for me, let's say I get into a 20 SMA play and it goes in my favor 4, 5, 6, 7 points. I'm going to take that every fucking time. If it starts to go against me, let's say it goes in my favor 2 points, 3 points. Now it's break even. It's going against me 4 points, 5 points, 6 points, 7 points, 8 points. I'm out. I'm out of the trade. Either it fucking works right now or it doesn't. If you can't control that and you can't handle that emotions, guess what? You don't belong on a mini. You go trade 3 or 4 micros and sit in that puppy. Let it work for you. Let her dance. Let her dance. She wants to put on a show. Fine. Let her put on a show. Guys, we're absolutely crumbling here. Absolutely crumbling here. 21,792 is my next stop. 20,792 could be our next stop. Wow. That was a hell of a move. I'm not going to lie. That was a great move. That was a hell of a move. Sheesh. 21,792. 21,792. Jeez. What are we going to do? You know, what are we going to do? Eric, great job, man. 4K on the day, 5 for 5. Absolute fucking monster, dude. Absolute monster. Great stuff, dude. Down. I'm not saying that you had to hold the entire move, right? But I hope that you caught a little piece of it, right? I hope you caught a little piece of it. I mean, absolutely insane here. We got news or something going on here. We got a headline, we got a tweet, we got something, you know. That was a pretty drastic sell-off. Was a pretty drastic sell-off. Once we really gave up that support, wiped away pretty good there. Whoops. Yeah, that sounds about right, Eric. That sounds about right. Imminent threat of Iranian strike on U.S. base in Qatar. Great. Great. That'll do it. That'll do it. What do these guys want to do, man? What do these guys want to do? You know, they really want to fuck with us. You know, I'm not trying to toot our horns over here, but they really want to do this. It's not going to be well. And we don't even need to put any boots to ground on these sons of a bitches. You know that? And again, it's my opinion. All aerial airstrikes, they are finished. Some of these countries need to stop puffing their chest up in the air. Guys, we're really starting to push down here. I'm out. I floated one there, guys. I floated a short there through the 70% retracement, 21,792. I floated a little short position there. Nothing much. Extra $50. We'll take it though, right? 782.52 profit now. Guys, next support that I got is 21,696. 21,696. Be careful though. Be careful. You know, it's we are playing with fire, throwing darts at this short position down this much, right? Without a back test. But Next support that I have is 21,000. Let's call it 700. But we did sweep. I want you guys to go on your hour chart. Again, get used to charting on your own, guys. Go on your hour chart, okay? And what I want you to do is I want you to draw a trend line going back to the date of the lows from 523. Draw a trend line there and drag that up all the way to where we currently stand now. I also want you guys to draw a trend line on the date of June the 1st, those lows, and connect that with the lows that we put in on June the 13th. Connect that. And then drag that trend line to where it matches up with that first trend line you drug, going all the way back to like 523. Do that. That's where we're trading at right here, right now. So we're holding about a month's worth of uptrend that's on the verge of getting obliterated if we do start to crack and close below it. Like if we close below this daily 20, shit's gonna get dicey, guys. Gonna get dicey. But with that, we have a very strong zone of support in this whole range, okay? Like this whole range here is a big zone of support, right? We've got trend lines that kind of match up with like the previous month of trading. We got a daily 20 SMA moving average. We've got a 61.8 retracement here on a Fibonacci. Like there's a lot of room here to hold up for a bounce. But if things are going to start to get dicey with the headlines and in the Middle East and stuff, or with Iran going on, don't be surprised if this market wants to roll over a little bit, right? Like I wouldn't be surprised. What is gold doing at this very moment? Remember, earlier we looked at gold and we were at day highs. Gold put in a nice pop. Remember, I marked this out today, 3406. That gold popped all the way up to 3410, guys. 3410 through high of day. You know, what's crude oil doing? Crude oil sinking right now. Look at crude, guys. Look at crude. Crude's got this big old flag pattern here. Crude is getting absolutely torched. Guys, if crude starts to give up 72.89, this thing's going to sink. 72.89, this thing's going to sink on crude, guys. You got crude sinking. You got the NASDAQ popping off of support here. Great bigs bottom. For those of you guys in Evolution Traders, my old school guys, that was a great bigs bottom there. Even, what are we looking for at those levels of demand? What are we looking for at those levels of supply? You guys already know, man. You already know. We're looking for doji candle, hammer candle, inverse hammer candle. Next candle confirms, boom, we strike. That was it. Through 21,792, that flush out, and then the reclaim, right? This is your stop. Once you reclaim that hammer candle, your zone now becomes, you are getting stopped out through the low of that current candle, back through 792. You are long into supply, which supply is sitting here at 870s. Look at crude, guys. Crude's absolutely getting torched right now. Crude's getting torched right now. Jeez. Crude is getting torched right now. Crew's getting absolutely destroyed. Anyways, look at the Nas, guys. Look at the Nas. Jeez. Look at the Nas. Oh. Nasdaq's popping into daily 10. Iran launched 6 missiles towards Qatar. Huh, that's not good. What a fucking reversal here. I can't chase that now. I can't chase that now. Guys, we can't chase that now. Good little rejection there off the daily 10. Good little rejection there off the daily 10. All right, guys, I'm gonna go take a break. I'm gonna get some coffee going. I got nothing else. I got nothing else for today. Get a little coffee going. That's about it. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Stay safe out there, guys, especially with all the headlines.